Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to another episode or edition, if you will, of Tech Thursday. Virginia and I are here from the Port Moody Public Library, and today we are going to talk about a very popular topic, at least as we've come across from questions that we've had posed to us, and that's about doing simple photo edits. Now, a common misconception is that you need some fancy, expensive software installed on your computer or on your phone or tablet in order to spruce up your photos a little bit, whether that be doing a little bit of a crop, maybe adjusting some exposure or colors. Well, we're here to show you that, perhaps unbeknownst to you, hidden on your own computers, whether that be Windows or Mac, you probably already have software built right into your computers, available at no extra charge to you, to do just those very things. Now, Virginia, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm excited for this because, like you said, we do get quite a few questions about it. And very often people come and ask us, like, what should they buy to do this, And when you actually like kind of talk to them a little bit more, you find out that most people are very just interested in like, just cropping the photo a bit, resizing it sometimes, or just like, like rotating it because they took it funny, like so it's all the things that are basic, like you said, that you can probably just do on your computer without anything. It's built right into your computer. So it's you don't need all those other things. And of course, if you're interested, like in going far and really, like doing professional photography, then yeah, of course, you need some fancy software. But we're going to just talk about everything that you can do, and you can see, sort of how much your computer, sort of the basic program that you can already do, and then decide for yourself whether you need all these other fancy things.
Exactly. That's a great point, Virginia. We'll take a look at the things you can do already right off the bat. And then from there, you can see if there's anything you're missing. And then that'll inform whether you do need to shell out for that extra fancy software.
Mhm.
All right. So, as mentioned, we'll cover built in software for both Windows machines as well as Mac. So, if you have an Apple laptop or computer. Virginia, do you have a preference as to which one of us goes first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. How about I let you go first
Okay.
because my cat has awakened and I'm gonna put him in his room. So let's let you go first.
All
So if
right.
you're ready, I will share your screen.
Yeah. All right. Just want to confirm that you can see my folder right now.
I can see your folder. Yes.
Perfect. And you can see all the owls.
So many owls and
Yes.
the baby.
And you know that that's I'm sharing it because when you see the owls, you know that that's me. Anyway, so I have just opened up my folder and I've put my owl folder right here. I think some of you might remember this from a few Tech Thursday back when we talk about file management on your computer. How do you rename files? How do you organize your files? If you're interested in that topic, you can go back and take a look at that episode of Tech Thursday and learn how to rename your files and organize them if you like. But today we're going to talk about, well, what to do once I've got a photo. What can I do to just, make some adjustments to them? Now, I have my owl folder here, and these are all photos just on the internet for, and so they're not my owl photos. I haven't met so many owls. I wish I have. I wish these are my owls, but they're not, unfortunately. But let's just take a look at how we can do some basic things. So when I open up my file folder, so this is just my window explorer or your what you call explorer, and so I've got all these pictures here, and all I want to do right now is just do a little bit of adjustment, and all you have to do is to double click on your photo and it will open up in sort of the basic Windows sort of editing screen and the preview screen. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to open up this barn owl here, so I'm just going to double click on it, right? And what it would do is just open up, I'm on Windows 10 computer, it just opened up in the regular sort of like Photos app, what they call. And so you can see here right away, I got my photo, I can see a little bit better, and there's a few different options up here. And what we are interested in doing today is these these two here, and also this edit and create. So this app comes with your Windows computer, so you don't need to download and install anything. This already came with Windows 10. And so let's just say I want to crop the picture a little bit so that it's a little closer to the owl, or maybe I'm looking for more like a portrait kind of owl. So what I'm going to do is click on this little button here. This is crop. And like all sort of computer stuff most of the time, when you put your mouse over, like if very often they like to use icons and give you like, well, what does this icon mean? And give you a new to it. Just put your mouse kind of close to it. Don't click on it, but just kind of put your mouse near it. It will usually show you what that icon does. So I'm going to go over here to the last icon on the right here, and then it say crop. So I'm going to try to crop this picture. So I'm going to click on it now. Okay, and it'll open up sort of like an edit screen for you. And once you're in this screen, you'll see now I've got like some more options here, and we'll talk about those, what they do. But what I have here is the image now has these handles on the corner, on the four corners here. So what I want to do is just crop the picture a little bit. So what you want to do is move your mouse to the border of the line here, and you can see your mouse cursor turn from a arrow to like a double arrow, like what we're showing here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag that in so that I can sort of crop the picture. And you can see as you're cropping, it shows you what you have cropped out of here. So I'm going to do that. And then maybe I'm going to crop this a little bit. So I can do that again. Same thing, just move your mouse close to the edge. Okay, and then just drag like that. Okay, and when you're happy, you can see the original size in the sort of in the background there, on the shadow there. So if you have a picture that has like things on the background, then you can see what you're actually cropping out. And all you have to do then is if you're happy with it, you can save it, or save a copy, or just save the change to the original. So it's completely up to you what you want to do. But so that's just basic kind of cropping. So I'm gonna just say save for the moment. And when you click on saving, it will take you back out to the program just to see the image again. And you can see that the image has been cropped. Okay, so I'm going to do this again and just see what other options there are. On the side here, when you're in this crop screen, there's also rotate. So if you took a picture and it is sort of like upside down, for example, you can like just click rotate it and it would do it by sort of the 90 degrees like that. Okay. There's also an option for you to flip. That just means like a horizontal, flip the horizontal. So I'm going to click on it. And you can see the owl is now facing the other way. And of course, any of these adjustments, if you don't like any of them, there's the undo button. You can just say undo. So you can get out of there and it'll revert back to your last save option. Now, sometimes you might be like, well, I like to, maybe your picture's a little sideways and you want to like adjust it, right? So you can do that with this straighten to kind of tool. So if you take a picture and it was just not quite right, you can always like adjust the leveling here. So you can do that, but this picture is fine. So I'm going to just leave it here. And then another option is if you have a specific size ratio that you want, and that's what this aspect ratio is. Like, for example, if you're taking a picture and you want it to be a square, or you want to crop the picture to like a 16:9. So depending on what kind of ratio you want, there's some preset over here. So if you click on this arrow here, you can say, I want it to be a square. So I can click on that, and then it will just crop it to the square size. So it can adjust according to what size you select. So I can do like a widescreen, 16:9. Of course, you can see once I do that, my owl now, of course, because of the original picture, is not that kind of ratio. So you can see now my owls is kind of not quite in the right place. So I can adjust this picture up and down so that my owl is still going to be in my picture. Give that is the size I want. So I can do that like that here. So there he is. And then I'm just going to reset for now, and then we can show you some other options. So those are kind of the basic cropping, resizing, and sort of flipping and rotating. The other things like up here, instead of just cropping and rotating, you can also do filters. So if I click on this filter option, you can see here, there's on the side here, there's some options for you. So filter like, your Instagram filter and all of that. So you can choose an option here. So And then once you choose a filter, like so from this one that I've got here, you can adjust how intense you want that filter to be. So there's your little slider here. You can just slide it back and forth and choose the level that you like. Okay. So I'm going to go back to maybe one of these, just go back to the original. There's also sort of different filters, and I'm sure on the Mac one there's like different kinds of things that you can do. So these are the ones that are available, so you can click through them and see what you like. All right. And then another thing, I'm going to cancel, undo all of them. Another thing is you can adjust or like the different things on your own. So if I click on adjustments, I can actually make the photo like brighter if I want, just again by just dragging the slider, and you can see sort of what it's doing in the image. You got an instant preview of what's happening. So you can adjust the lighting. You can adjust the color. So if you're looking for like a black and white photo, you can just like drag it all the way. So how saturated the colors are in the photos. So you can adjust it using this slider. Clarity, and then a vignette. So you can do like a sort of a vignette kind of view like that, right? So there's different things you can sort of do. And then bottom here is there's two other options called red eye and spot fix. So these are spot fix is, for example, if you have a little blemish, like, just a little dot that shouldn't be there and is distracting from your beautiful photo, or you just didn't like it, you can try to use a spot fix to see if you could get rid of some of that. So I'm going to try it on this owl picture. I'm going to click on spot fix, and then what you can do is you can see my cursor now has a little dot. So let's just see what can we spot fix here. Let's try to see if we can get rid of this dot right here on the owl. So I'm just going to point at it and click on it. And you can see the dot is gone. So let me undo that so you can see. So there's the dot right there. Spot fix. And then I'm going to click on it. And now the dot is gone. Right? So there's just little adjustment that you can do. Now let me close this off, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to say yes, don't save. Now when I go back to my folder, you can see of all the owl pictures, I have a baby picture, and you're probably like, why? What's happening? Well, this is my picture to demonstrate the other option, which is the red eye option. So let me click on the baby picture here and open that up. So same way, double click, and then I'm going to just click on any of these to adjust it. And then now you can see this baby is a great picture, but there's just got a little bit of a red eye here. So I'm going to try to remove it. So I'm going to go to adjustment. And then same thing here. I'm going to click on the red eye. It works the same way as the spot fix. You just basically move over the eye part of it, and then click on it and see if you can fix it. So I'm just going to do that here to this side. So you can see it did a pretty good job on that. I'm going to click on that and do that on this side. So you can see now we have fixed the red eye, so to speak. All right. So these are just some very easy, you can see very easy to use, pretty intuitive. It's just dragging sliders back and forth and doing some clicking. And with just what Windows already has, you can do some of those adjustments, do some of those cropping and rotating just on its own without having any fancy software. So that is how the Windows built-in Photos app work. All right, Liz. You are muted, Liz, I think.
Oh, just saying good job on the red eye reduction on that baby. Now it's not creepy anymore, so that's great.
Now it's slightly, yes, that's right.
Yeah. So Virginia is the Windows person here, so by default that means I am the Mac person here. So I will show you a built-in tool for simple photo editing called Preview. So I will just bring an image up on my screen here.
I feel like we do need to do those like PC
Okay,
and Mac
I'm just
ads.
gonna right? The
With
PC versus Mac.
Right? I feel like we're I guess I'm
we have opinions on things.
yeah. So you're Justin Long. Is it Justin Long? And John Hodgman? John Hodgman is the PC, right? I think.
Whatever happened to those guys, eh?
John Hodgman still does stuff. He writes books.
I don't know if Justin Long does anything now.
I don't know. That I don't know. I'm sure he does. Well, Justin, if you're listening, let us know what you're doing right now.
We'll have you on our show.
That's right.
All right. So this is our Mac product. So I have already taken the liberty of opening this application. You don't actually have to go and find the application and remember that it's called Preview and search for it and then open it. All I did was, so much like Virginia, I have a bunch of photos stored on my computer. All I had to do was go to one of those photo files in my Finder and double click on it. So by double left clicking on it, it automatically opened the photo in this preview product. So you can see on my screen here, it is, surprise, surprise, a picture of a cat. Now, I just want to have the disclaimer that for the particular version of the operating system that I'm using, I do have a bit of an older machine, and it might not be quite up to the latest OS. So your version of Preview may be a bit snazzier, maybe a bit more elegant, but essentially from version to version, all of the core features are always there. And if anything, in theory anyways, they all get easier to find and to use. So back to our cat photo. So right now we've got this toolbar up here. It doesn't really have what I want to do. I mean, I can for sure zoom in and zoom out, but this is not helping me in the editing aspect. So what I need is to open up that toolbar, and it's this little toolbox kind of an icon that shows the markup toolbar. So I'm going to click on that. So when you open up a photo, you may already see that. I didn't see that, so I just had to click on that toolbox icon here. So now I have full access to the editing tools available to me. So as Virginia mentioned, one of the most frequently asked questions is, how do I crop my photo? Now, right now, you can see we don't have an option to crop. However, if I go ahead and make sure that this tool is selected, so this allows us to make a selection of the photo. So right now, I'm going to leave it to rectangular selection. And you'll notice that my cursor, once I move into the photo area, kind of stop there. So it's become a crosshairs or a plus sign. So what I'm going to do is to drag a box to where I want the dimensions of my picture to be. So I'm just going to drag it around. You'll notice that now I've created a dotted frame around my picture. If I decide, maybe I want a little bit more at the top of this picture, for example, I cut it a bit too close, I can go ahead and grab this dot here. You'll notice my crosshairs cursor has now turned into a double-ended arrow. And so now by clicking and dragging, I can play with that at will. So nothing is set in stone. Don't worry about getting it set to exactly the way you want your crop to look. You do have some leeway to play around with it. Same with the corners. You can go ahead and grab the corner when it's a double-ended arrow and drag to where you want your crop to be. So I'm just going to leave it, I think, like that. And now you'll notice that this crop button has appeared up at the right-handed side of my toolbar. So I'm just going to go ahead and click crop. And now you'll notice that all of that space above where my dotted line was and below it has been removed from the picture. Now, there's also a few other tools that may be useful to you here. If I wanted to do some embellishment on my photo, for example, I can add shapes. So I can put a little star in there, for example. If I wanted to change the color of this, I can go up here. So you'll notice that right now it's a tealy blue color. I can go up here to this box and select a new color. You'll notice again those dots at the corners and sides of the shape. You can use that to control the size of your shape. And if I were to move it, I just need to make sure that when my cursor is over this shape, I can just use this hand cursor to drag it over to where I want to be. So same idea with text if I wanted to embellish it. So again, almost kind of like those fun photo editing apps you may have on your phone where you want to add something onto it before you post it up on your social media. So once I clicked on the text button up here, there's a little box that, again, I can drag to where I want it to go. I can also click next to the letter A. This signifies the font, so I can change the color of it if I want. I can change the actual font to something else. I can change the size too. And then if I wanted to change the actual text, I can just click in there and type what I want to type. So then when you click away from it, now that option has been set right in there. Now, if you want to do something maybe a little bit more professional, maybe a little bit more subdued than doing shapes and also text on your photos, you can use this adjustment icon right here. So once I click on that, it brings up another menu, which I don't think you can see. Okay, so I'm just going to change my view in just a second. So it brings up a pop-up window that shows some different editing options. So I'm just going to change my screen sharing view here. Bear with me, everybody. I'm going to show you my entire screen. Okay, so now I'm going to bring back my preview. All right, Virginia, can you see my color adjustment? Yes. Okay, wonderful. So I've got this pop-up window. So again, I clicked on this triangle here for the adjust color feature. So now this is not as wizardy or user-friendly, perhaps, if you're kind of new to photo editing and some of the terms. Not quite as user-friendly as the Windows version that Virginia showed you, but all of the same functionality is actually in here. So we have the slider bars so that you can see what happens if you, for example, increase exposure or also decrease exposure. So by default, a lot of these are right in the middle, and then somewhere at the far end of the spectrum. So again, if we just slide it over, then we can see if there are any particular changes. Saturation, for example, depth of color. So a lot of the different aspects of what makes a good photo, for example, is the photo too dark? Is the photo too bright? Is the color a little bit too warm or too cold? You can do all of those adjustments right here under Adjust Color. Also, if you want to give it an old-timey kind of vibe, you can do sepia. So although this particular piece of preview software lacks things like filters, you can play around with these different sliders in order to get similar effects with colors, tone, that kind of thing. I'm just going to click Reset All for this and close this particular menu. And let's see, am I missing anything here? Now, you can also specify specific dimensions for your photo. So for example, if you wanted to post something on Facebook and you wanted to make sure that it comes up properly in your feed and the dimensions are all correct, then all you have to do is to click on the Image Dimensions button, and that's this one here, this square with the two opposing arrows pointing outwards. So from here, you can specify if you have specific measurements, you can type those in here, and you can do that by pixels, or you can also choose a preset setting. So a lot of standard image sizes. All right, so now you notice that's kind of absurd. It was a very large image that was taken back to a smaller image, but you get the idea. The system will do it for you. So if it is something that maybe you think is a mistake, you can always undo. So like we've talked about in a previous episode of Tech Thursday, you can use your control keys. In my case, Command Z for undo. You can also find everything up here, so don't worry about remembering what your control keys are. You can go ahead and do all of those things up here. Now, I'm just going to double check if there's anything that I have missed. Oh, and of course, rotation of the photo. So for example, if I took this photo and it had saved out to this kind of a viewpoint, that's obviously not how I'd like to post this photo. So right here next to the toolbox icon, there is this rotate icon. So it only goes in one direction in my particular version of preview, and that is to the left, as the arrow indicates. Just like in the Windows counterpart, it will rotate your photo in 90-degree increments. So all I have to do is keep clicking until the photo is at the correct orientation that I want it to be. Otherwise, that's about it. It's not as, again, user-friendly or as, having all the usual bells and whistles for social media that you might be looking for. However, everything that you would need to do, perhaps, to make your photo look nice is there.
Mm-hmm. It's great. Like, I mean, there's so much stuff really you could do already to it, based on just having the basic options.
Yeah, and I like how even if you're not familiar with, the terms like exposure or tint or temperature, I like how you can just use the slider to, have immediate feedback.
Yeah, exactly. You can see right in the preview what it's doing. And you can always switch it back, which is a nice thing. You can always just like turn it back if you didn't like it. And you can there's so many options. You can just like combine them and see what kind of artistic photo that you can create.
Right. So instead of having a filter, for example, you don't like the filters, maybe they don't really suit your photo or what you had in mind. It's always fun to play around and see what you can come up with yourself.
Yeah. It's great. Yay. So see how easy it is. Free.
Yeah, so
even better.
Free software built into your Windows or Mac machine. So accessible to you if you are on a computer. Yeah, so as always, if you have a question about anything we've talked about on Tech Thursday today, whether you're watching this live or you are perhaps watching our recording, please do leave your question below in our comments, and we will be happy to answer those questions for you. Also, if you have any recommendations for things that you'd like to see on Tech Thursday, no topic is too small. If you are having a specific question, you're probably not the only one. Chances are somebody else out there has the exact same question as you. So please don't be shy.
Yeah. And no topic is too simple or easy because nothing is really easy. Right? It's all like it's easy if you know it, right? Or if somebody like told you like this is how you do it, but it's like the computers, they don't tell you. So, if there's anything you're wondering, just let us know, so there's nothing is as too basic or too simple. We're happy to cover those because I'm sure like many people would be able to benefit from that. So
absolutely. Well said, Virginia. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed today's Tech Thursday and that you will join us again next week, 2 p.m., for another edition of Tech Thursday.
Yep. We'll find more ways to show you owl and cat pictures.
Oh, we will. Indeed.
That's really why we do Tech Thursday.
Gotta have some fun with it, right?
Yep. All right. See everybody next week. Have a great weekend.
Bye for now.
Bye.